Hello and welcome to In the Park, presented by Wake Up Sports Podcast. Usual suspects today, myself, N64, Brian, Matt, and Nick. Today we're going to be going over the standings as they are today, what we've seen the last couple weeks. We missed last week and we're back with some vengeance. A lot of big movers. We're going to go over the wild card as per usual, as we're going to do as the season winds down. And we're going to go over what these teams can do to get better in the offseason and into next year. A lot of the lower level teams, we're talking Baltimore, Chicago White Sox, and so on and so forth, Nationals and whatnot. But first, we want to do a quick shout out. On September 5th, baseball lost the legend of the game, Davey Johnson. Played for the Orioles, the Braves, the Phillies, and the Cubs. He had a stint in the Japanese league. I believe it's the Nippon Professional Baseball League. He managed for the Mets, the Reds, the Orioles, the Dodgers, and the Nationals. Quick rundown here: 1,200 hits, right around 130 home runs, about a 260 batting average, 4-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove. In his managerial career, 2-time Manager of the Year, and a 3-time World Series winner, 2 as a player with the Orioles and 1 as a Mets manager. Nick, we all know that you're a Mets fan. I'm sure your dad, that's the 86 Mets. I'm sure he's brought him up at some point. And Comic, you had mentioned something you've seen him manage before. So do you guys have any insight before we move on here?
He was a great manager. I mean, I'm not big into the advanced sabermetrics, but he was kind of at the forefront of that before even anybody really knew about it, just because he was good at numbers. Underrated as a player. He had the single season record for home runs at second base until Marcus Semien tied it or broke it a couple seasons ago at 48. He won everywhere. I think Philly, he was there too, or he played there. But the Reds, he was there in the 90s when they were still great. And then came back after, I don't know how long of being gone, to the Nationals, right when they started their borderline dynasty. Just, it was good.
He was a very good manager when his run with the Mets, especially that '86 team that beat unfortunately beat my Red Sox.
Yeah, I blame Calvin Schiraldi, former Met.
Schiraldi.
Right.
It wasn't Bill Buckner's fault. There was still a Game
Calvin
7.
Schiraldi.
Right, that is correct.
Yeah.
He had a good career with the Orioles as a manager. He had a good career, like you said, right before the Diamondbacks started their dynasty run. I don't remember him as a player. I only remember him as a manager.
Yeah, same. I just know the stories.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't call 3 years a dynasty run, my man.
For who?
The Diamondbacks. He said Diamondbacks with a dynasty run. I wouldn't say, even though I'm a Diamondbacks fan.
Oh, I didn't know he was
3 years into the league. Yeah, winning a World Series, but that's not a dynasty.
No, I said the Nationals.
He meant
Oh, I heard. For some reason I heard.
Yeah.
My bad.
Nationals weren't a dynasty. They won one, but basically since he came in, I want to say it was 2012 when they started to win consistently till 2019. Then they've been shit since they won the World Series.
Yeah.
Just want to give a quick shout out here to Katie, always jumping in the streams, always saying hey to everybody. We don't always bring up the comment, but we'll bring it up here. So everyone say hi to Katie, and we appreciate you coming in.
Hey.
And another, always going to have a shout out to the supporters. We got Dally here. Dally, you can catch him on the Monday and Friday Wake Up Sports podcast on YouTube. He's a Guardians fan, and he is excited to see how this comes down to the wire here. We'll get to that. And then real quick, again, in the comments, we'll bring this one up. Cal hit number 54 today.
Tied, I think that ties Mickey Mantle for most as a switch hitter. I want to say.
Today.
Yes.
That's what I predicted he would top out at. So obviously I'm wrong unless he doesn't do anything over the next 15 games.
Yeah, I think it's roughly between 12 and 14 games for everybody. Looking at,
I'd like to see him get 63. Not that that's historical or anything. It is now for some reason because Judge did it, but whatever. I want him just to get 60. Either way, I don't see any catcher anytime soon even touching that record.
Yeah, unless Schwarber
Right.
unless Schwarber goes back to catching, which I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they
don't.
got the
I doubt
automated
he
strike
does.
zone. They just have to catch the ball. They don't have to frame it anymore. They're just like,
Yeah,
just stand
that's true.
behind the dish.
Literally though.
Put Giancarlo
Goodness.
Stanton there. His knees don't work anyway.
I actually lied.
Fair enough.
They had that job. So for those that don't know, I know I brought it up before. I live down in Florida, South Florida, just south of Tampa here. We have a lot of minor league teams south of here in Bradenton, Sarasota area. And there was a job on Indeed for someone to just basically come in and make sure that that system was working correctly. And I applied. I didn't get the job, which is why I'm here with everybody else. So without further ado, let's jump into the standings. I know that we kind of touch on this every single week or every couple weeks, but just want to keep it fresh. We'll start in the AL. We'll go east to west, and then we'll go into the wild card quick. Excuse me. So again, in the East, you got the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox. Essentially, the Rays and the Orioles are out of contention. So as a Red Sox fan, Comic or Brian, what do you feel for this division? Are we going to see the same order throughout the rest of the season? About, what did we say, 13 more games, or do we see something changing here?
I don't see anything changing. It's gonna be the Blue Jays will win the division, the Yankees, unfortunately, and then the Red Sox. Red Sox have have had a couple guys get hurt in the last couple weeks since the last episode I was on. Anthony, their rookie superstar, got hurt, and I'm not sure he may not make the playoffs. And then, of course, they got rid of I can't pronounce his name. Who've now played for
Walker
the
Buehler?
Phillies. Yes, they got rid of him.
They got rid of Walker
Uh-huh.
Buehler.
Yeah.
And now they've brought up a couple rookies. They had a couple rookies pitch earlier in the week. It was against the A's, yes, I know, but it is against Major League Baseball talent. So you
Yeah,
can't.
he killed it. They had two. The one guy
They did good.
One
dominated.
guy
Like,
had like 11 or 12 or 13
Yeah.
strikeouts.
In like 6 innings, he was dicing him up. And then they got that other guy who's like 22 and looks like he's 40 because he's beefy and got a full-grown beard. Big fan.
That
Right.
is correct.
Big fan. He looks like John Kruk without the mullet.
dang.
And then on the downfall of the, we were going to mention also the Orioles. They were just disappointing this year. They had the talent. It's just not producing.
They got to go hard in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Or not playoffs, the off season. They got good with that Trevor Rogers. That was an excellent sign. He's been killing it since they put him in the rotation.
But they were, I believe, in the month of September, they're 7-1, I believe.
I believe you're
Yeah.
right.
And I believe that's tops in Major League Baseball. Don't hold me to it, but because I remember seeing earlier in the week they were 7-1.
Right.
Crazy how in the past 2 months the American League has just, as a whole, been so much better than the National League. National League is flailing,
Oh, yeah.
stagnant, or just bottoming out as a whole.
That is correct. And
I mean,
I remember about a month ago it was the other way around.
yeah,
Everyone
the
was
Mets were
saying,
good a month ago. Not anymore.
They're
They're still in the wild card though. We won.
Yes.
Suck it, Giants. Sorry, Diamondbacks.
I remember. I'm not going to mention.
You know what? I'll get to them when we get to the NL West.
I'm not going to mention the person's name, but they said they didn't think that the American League East was going to do anything.
Who said it?
I'm
Buster
not
Olney?
No. I'm not. No, it's one person on who he hasn't been on here in a while. I'm not going to mention his name.
Ken Rosenthal. I
No.
knew he was in here
Brother.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Bumping into reporters last night, and now he's in here sulking.
Good.
So does anybody else have a differing opinion on the AL East? Matt, Nick, do we think the Blue Jays are going to finish it out strong?
Yeah, the Yankees, they're the same as they've been all year. They're winning sort of now, but it's just based on how the competition is going. They're not taking that division. It's probably best, for the Red Sox to get the final wild card. Because I think that means they play either the Astros or the Mariners, the lower seed, I think, of the division winners.
Mhm.
Yes. And Boston is
Yeah.
right now up 5-0.
Yes, I believe you're right on that.
Okay. So I completely agree with what you guys have to say. I think the Blue Jays have been consistent. They've been strong the whole season, and I don't see them losing that final spot. They've got a 3.5 game lead. It would take a huge meltdown in the last couple games here, the last 2 weeks of the season. If we jump over here now into the AL Central, and this is where we're going to bring up Dalley's comment here. 6 games out of first, or 6.5 as of when I looked up the stats today. So 6.5 games out of first. Obviously, first place you have the Tigers. Skubal went down. From what I had heard, it's not a major injury. He will make his next start. What do we think about this? Because the Guardians have really been surging. 9-1 in their last 10. They're on a 4-game win streak as of right now, just playing great baseball. The Tigers have just been kind of bang average since the All-Star break almost. So where do we see, and we're going to start with you, Matt, where do we see this division going? I think the Royals, 10 games out, they're essentially eliminated from the division. But as far as the Guardians and Tigers, they play each other 2 series between now and the end of the season.
Okay.
Where do you think we're going with this division?
I would say with this division, and this is no shot at Dally being a Guardians fan. Obviously, this is just my honest truth. If the Tigers can take those couple games against Cleveland and then finish out the rest of their season winning the rest of their series, they're holding on to that lead. But if the Tigers somehow lose out, as far as losing all these series coming up, then I could see Cleveland taking that lead. But I still see both teams making the playoffs regardless.
Okay, Nick, what do you think about this division?
So there's 14 games left. Cleveland's 2.5 back, I think, in the wild card.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it before that I don't think there's going to be more than one team out of the Central. I still think whoever wins the division is going to be the only team getting in. It really depends on what the Astros and Rangers do. I think the Mariners are getting in regardless. I think it all depends on what the Rangers and Astros do. The Rangers right now have the best pitching, and their offense is sort of doing a lot better than what's been since they've righted the ship since firing whoever their hitting coach was before Brett Boone stepped in. So they've been doing better. That's just my take. I don't know. It could be wrong.
And Comic, what do you think? Like we said, Guardians back 6.5 games on the Tigers. They play 2 series. I think they play a 2-3 game series.
How many? Let me ask you this: how many games are the Guardians behind on the Mariners for the final wild card position?
The Guardians are 2.5 out from the Astros in the final wild card.
Who I think are tied with the Mariners. The Mariners take a half-game lead in the division.
The Mariners have a lead in the division. The Mariners have a full 1-game lead.
That might come down to whoever has the season tiebreaker between those two teams, honestly.
I agree with that.
I could see them actually taking over the final wild card position from the Mariners.
I'd love to see the Mariners, and I always root for them.
It just depends on their pitching, and unfortunately, the Mariners pitching has been garbage this year, and they have the staff to have one of the best staffs in Major League Baseball. Because we saw at the trade deadline, what did they go after? Hitting, which I understand that too. But anyway, it all just depends on what the Tigers if their starting pitching holds up.
Agreed. If their starting pitching holds up, which I believe, 64 can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe Skubal got hurt.
He did.
Yeah, last report I saw was he left the game early. He had, I think it was tightness on his right side, but then they came out and said either later that day or the next day that he will make his next start. It was uncomfortable. He was tight. He wanted to take precautions since they most likely are definitely making the playoffs. But he will make his next start, and if he doesn't make that one, he'll make the one after that. So he will pitch against the Guardians probably at least once in the last part of the season. I think we've talked about it plenty of times on here and in the past is behind Skubal, that's where they're kind of falling off the Tigers. Flaherty has kind of picked it up here in the second half. He's had like flashes of good play, flashes of good pitching. If they want to be successful down the stretch, especially if they get swept one of these series, this is going to come down to the last week of the season, I think. And I'm not just saying that because Dalley's in here and Dalley's saying that the Guardians have a chance, but we know the Guardians of what they're like the Mariners of what 2-3 years ago. They're scrappy. They go on these streaks. They win these games, and I do think that they start their the 16th. They start their series with Detroit. What is that, tomorrow or Tuesday? What's the date today? I don't even know what the date today is. But so they start their series with Detroit. That's their next series. If they can come out here, they're 9-1 in their last 10, and they can sweep Detroit the first one. That's either going to do one of two things. It's going to light the fire into Detroit and make them, really push and keep the division lead, or they're going to sulk back and be like feel bad for themselves. Oh, we lost. We got swept. We might lose the division, and do what the normal Tigers do and slump back down into second place. And like I said, they're going to make the playoffs. Unless they lose every single game the rest of the season, there's no chance they miss the playoffs here.
Yeah, agreed.
But we kind of touched on it a little bit already with the West. Probably one of the most exciting races in all of baseball right now. Just looking at the stats, I pulled them up here on MLB.com. 82-68 for the Mariners, 81-69. So one game behind for the Astros. And like Nick had said, the Rangers, who have been playing great baseball since firing their hitting coach, they already had the best pitching or one of the best pitching staffs in baseball throughout the whole season. And they're 7-3 in their last 10, sitting at 79-71. So you've got three teams within 3 games of each other that I don't have a professional opinion on this. My heart and my gut is telling me the Mariners have been playing the best, 9-1. They're feeding off of Cal Riley and being this power hitter and being great at what he does, great catching, great power hitter, leading this team. And I do think that they kind of keep it going. I don't know. They've been really well for me in the second half. What did they go? They went on like a 7-game win streak, a 10-game win streak. Like they've just been streaky. They've been winning a lot of games in the second half of the season. So, I know we already touched on it a little bit, but let's just go through real quick. We'll go comic to Nick to Matt. What do you see this finishing as far as the Mariners, the Astros, and the Rangers in the division?
I see the Mariners. I can see the Mariners winning the division.
Nick?
I think the Mariners are going to win the division. Whoever is in second, I think, takes that final slot or one of the final slots of the wild card.
Yeah.
It's crazy because the Rangers got not better, but like you thought they would be out once Eovaldi went down, but they hung right back in.
Well,
Yeah,
they
they hung
made that trade for Kelly.
That's true, yeah. Been killing it.
They have been killing it recently, especially after getting Merrill Kelly as well
Mhm.
to kind of help with that injured Eovaldi. And honestly, that's gonna be closer than people think. My gut's telling me to go with Seattle because again, they've got, Cal Raleigh, who's been on an absolute tear this season. Eugenio Suarez, his power is finally coming back. Josh Naylor's hitting the ball well.
Since going there, he's killing it.
Those 3 bats alone are solid bats for Seattle. My biggest concern with Seattle, though, is their pitching.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest concern with Seattle was their pitching.
Yeah, it was their biggest success the first half, and I don't know why it's their biggest failure because they're still that's still on paper the best rotation in baseball, and then probably Philly, but I don't know.
All right, and then okay, so I'm gonna address a couple comments here. Katie said the Mariners just won 9 in a row, so they're on a streak right now, which is good to know. And then Dally brought up the fact the Tigers' last 4 series are Guardians, Braves, Guardians again, then Red Sox.
Oof.
And then the Guardians' last 4 series are Tigers, Twins, Tigers again, Rangers.
They need to sweep the Tigers twice basically to get in.
Yeah, they need to go. I don't know how many games they have against the Tigers in those 2 series, but they need to go basically undefeated in those last 2 series against Detroit to basically win the division.
Yeah, Twins are going to be looking to play spoiler since they just got officially eliminated.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the
Mariners.
loss to the Diamondbacks today, they officially got eliminated.
And the Twins, I mean, the record doesn't necessarily reflect it. They've been decent. They just haven't been able to put it together long term. 65
They got rid of everybody at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
did. Yep.
They haven't got rid of Rocco Baldelli. Why is he still there?
So real quick, we kind of already discussed it, but just give everyone at home a real quick reminder of the wild card. So obviously you've got the Blue Jays, Tigers, and Mariners leading their divisions. Comic had already previously said the Yankees and the Red Sox, he thinks they're staying. I will say I completely agree with that. I think it is going to come down to essentially if the Guardians can make a run, the Rangers can stay on the right, straight and narrow path, or if the Astros, which are the ones that are there, can just stay there. So hold on, I'm going to bring up Dally here real quick.
There we go, Dally. What's up, dude?
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? So I know we're touching base on playoffs and all that. So what I think is, as long as we sweep one of the teams near the end, I think as long as if we only drop 2 to the Tigers, I really think we'll be okay. Just 2 games. I think if we go like 4-2 against the Tigers, and then the Rangers are a great team near the end, so I think that will decide if we win that series against the Rangers. I think that will decide if we make the playoffs or not.
That was my thought exactly when you sent the schedule. There is when you sent it to you a 2 series against the Tigers, instantly my head said, okay, 4-2 on them and sweep another one. Like sweep any of the other 2 series that you have, and that propels you into the playoffs. It's a big ask, but they are one of the 2 hottest teams in baseball right now. So I can stand by it. I really do think the Guardians have a chance. It's going to come down to the Tiger series, though. 100%.
Yeah,
It is
for
definitely
sure.
Tiger series.
I just think we know how to beat the Tigers. We did it when it mattered the most in the playoffs last year. I think if we get that momentum, think about what happened last year in the playoffs and go into these next series against the Tigers, I honestly think we have a possibility of taking that division.
And I could see that happening for Cleveland. I'm not counting Cleveland out as much as I want to because, family being from Michigan, I kind of, support the Tigers, but
Yeah, go blue.
and as much as I don't really care for Michigan as a Sun Devil fan, I kind of have to say that as well. But at any rate,
Then.
if Cleveland can take 4 out of 6 over Detroit, then it's their division.
For sure.
Yeah,
But
Dally, let me ask you this. Are you kind of how many do you think they could take from the Red Sox? You think they could take a whole series, or they could take 2 out of 3?
That's the Tigers. That's the Tigers last series.
You play the Tigers. I honestly think you guys can handle the Tigers easily.
Okay,
the Tigers in the back half of the season haven't looked as strong as they have in the first.
Yeah. I think what I'm looking at, because this was the opposite last year. Detroit was by far didn't have a shot at making the playoffs. A shot until like the last month, because they won 26 games, 26 out of 30 games, was it, or something like that?
Yeah,
those
It was
choices.
like since like August like 22nd or something.
Yeah, they did that. So I think it's the opposite. I think it'll be the opposite this year. For
Yeah.
and
Every year there's that momentum team sneaks in. Diamondbacks a couple years ago, the Mets last year, the Tigers.
Yeah,
I
right,
don't know who the other one is.
series.
Power friendship, man. That's how it goes
so
every
so
year.
so even if Cleveland does make the playoffs, I could see us getting out of the wild card. I just don't see us getting past the divisional.
Right.
Yeah, I think every sport's similar in this. It's about playing your best baseball when it matters.
Mhm.
So, like we said, with Cleveland being 9-1, they're in prime striking distance, whether it be the wild card or the division. And I think that, like you said, will propel them through the wild card round of the playoffs. I don't know if they have necessarily the long term success throughout the playoffs. It's always tough. You see the Dodgers are a prime example. Is the best team in baseball throughout the whole year, and they make it in the wild card round and they get swept, whether it be by the Padres, the Phillies, whoever.
Mhm.
So I do think I agree with you on that point, is that they will, if they do make it, they will make it out of that first round. They're going to be coming off a high that you really can't, there's not a statistical factor for that. It's just one of those things that you just kind of have to feel. When you come into the playoffs winning 4 series in a row, 5 series in a row, or 10 games in a row, you're going to do well. It's just how it is. It's always been that way. It usually has been that way. And I do think this is a situation where we will see that coming into the playoffs. Let's turn the shift real quick. Let's get through the NL real quick. Phillies, I don't know if they won today. I think they lost today, so they did not clinch the division. They've clinched the playoff berth. They've essentially, I hate talking about this on here because I'm a Phillies fan and Nick's a Mets fan, and it's always been the back and forth for years and years and years and years. But the Mets, Nick, touch on this for us. The ultimate just fall off of the Mets out of the division.
I'll kill you. Phillies suck. Kill yourself. The Mets are
Come
awful,
on,
and there's no way to explain it. I don't know. Their pitching is good. Their bullpen sucks. And then you swap it, and the hitting is ass. The manager sucks. I'm tired of him. They need to fire all the coaching because I don't know. David Stearns, I
Okay.
thought was good. It turns out he's a fraud.
Yikes. N64, we got a comment as well, by the way.
Yeah, I see that. I'm going to get through the standings real quick, and we'll bring that one up.
Perfect. Okay.
Can I bring up one point real
Go
quick?
for it.
If you take a look at all the teams that made big moves at the trade deadline, a lot of them haven't. Majority of them haven't panned out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for the Padres.
Padres
Mostly for the
Padres.
Padres.
They could start another team.
Yeah,
Just
the
all the players
Mariners,
that
I
they
would
traded.
say yes, but Suarez has been shit, and then Naylor's been good, and then you got the Brewers. What'd they get? Like Shelby Miller. That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't
Shelby
much.
Miller from us, and that was it. The only, like I said, we sold at the deadline. Obviously we gave the Mariners Eugenio and Josh Naylor, Merrill to the Rams,
Kelly.
and then obviously Shelby to the Brewers. I think that was the only ones that are notable that left. That's about it.
Yeah, and the Giants sold, and they got better. Don't make no sense.
And look at the D-backs. They're winning almost every series right now, too. We're getting better as well. We're trying to compete with the Giants right now for that last spot.
I think it's safe to say NL East, that's kind of done for. We can go past that. I think it's almost safe to say that the Brewers have essentially wrapped up that division. I know it's a 5.5 game lead. We just talked about the Guardians potentially doing it with a 6.5 games back, but I think the Brewers are a lot more consistent than the Tigers, and they'll just be.
As of today, the Brewers clinched.
Yeah, I don't think they clinched their division. They just clinched a playoff berth, whether it be the division or the wild card.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, But in my opinion, and let me know if anybody has a differing opinion, the Brewers essentially are just going to win that. They've been the best team in baseball. They're consistently the best team in baseball over the, throughout the whole season. The Cubs have been doing Cub things, I guess, just kind of falling off, being bang average, going 5-5 this last 10. And
Yeah.
it seems like every 10 before that going 5-5 since the All-Star or since the trade deadline. They've been right there being good, but not quite getting over that hump and passing the Brewers. So unless anyone has a differing opinion on that one, we can kind of glaze over that real quick.
Nope.
I don't have a differing opinion on it. I've talked with a buddy of mine who is a diehard Cubs fan, and he knew the second half of the season collapse was coming. It happens every year with Chicago, apart from 2016.
It really
It's
does.
always the second half of the year the Cubs fall apart every time.
And then hopping into the West, which again, we see it with the AL West. Super interesting coming down the stretch. It's going to be a 3-team race basically until that last week of the season. This one's a little bit more just a 2-man race. But Dodgers and Padres, we just touched on it. Padres got better at the trade deadline. They've been playing good. They've been playing better. We have a Padres fan that we talk to pretty often with Alex. Shout out to Alex. He should be here with us shortly. And so where do we see this going? Is this going to be a Dodgers meltdown with that, even with that team that they have, regardless of injuries? Are they going to fail again? It's weird saying again since they just won the World Series, but with the payroll they have, the players they have, they should be winning 100 games every year, in my opinion. So is this going to be a failed season for the Dodgers and the Padres are going to overtake them? Or is this just going to be an overachievement for the Padres, and are they going to take first place?
All right.
If the Dodgers don't win the division and win the World Series, that's a fail every year. You don't spend that type of money with your deferrals and have a lineup of like 6
Go ahead,
MVPs at any point
Freddie
and
Freeman,
Hall of
Will
Famers.
Smith,
Will
I mean,
Smith, Teoscar
Smith,
Hernandez.
Kike Hernandez. I mean, come on. And
It's unfair.
as a Dodgers hater, so to speak, because they're the dominant, I'm loving this fall off. I'm loving this as far as that is concerned. If they go I doubt they go sub 90 games, but if they go sub 100, I'm going to be laughing my way to the bank with this. I will tell you what. And if they choke in the playoffs, it's going to make me laugh even harder. They tend to choke in the playoffs every single year outside of last. But look at when their World Series run.
Dave Roberts
the Dodgers got swept.
But Dave Roberts does have 2 World Series as a manager. So it doesn't fall off every year.
Yes. But with that roster,
I would say every few years.
You should be contending for a World Series every year. Like, you should be at least consistently making the divisional series, if not the championship series, every year with that roster.
You can say the same. Well, in the American League, you can say the same thing about the Yankees.
Exactly.
They go out every year and spend
about New York, they have
bukus of money.
Yankees suck. They only made the World Series because they only had to face the American League Central. That's it. They're like, oh, that's hard.
With those rosters, you should be consistently making a deep run in the playoffs. You being either a wild card or a division series exit is not going to cut it.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with the Dodgers. I don't think many of us are as baseball fans. I don't think we like the way that they do their contracts. I don't think they like the way that they almost kind of carry themselves and spend money at this ridiculous rate. What they should do realistically, and this is a pipe dream for me, is somehow figure out a way to give some of that money to the A's. I would love to see the A's with a higher payroll and get some big players down there or over there.
But
they're good. They just need to get a stadium. Their home stadium is still is the problem.
The thing with the A's, though, they need to start fresh. They need to get the stadium done. They need to have a couple good seasons of guys coming up from their own farm system to really establish themselves before they can really make a big splash in like free agency, trade deadline, things like that.
I mean, that lineup's pretty good. You got Soderstrom, Kurtz, Wilson, Rooker, Langoliers.
But they go ahead and make, I thought it was a stupid trade, and they get rid of their closer.
Yeah,
One
they
of the
got
best,
rid of
one of the
Mason.
best closers in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they got rid of Mason Miller and sent him to San Diego.
Exactly. So
They had to have gotten a haul for that,
the
though.
Athletics have a good young minor league system, also
Exactly, they're
very good
not to be slept on. I don't disagree with that at all. But
because
if they
you have two
utilize their
Rookie of the Year
call up some
candidates.
guys and start making some bigger splashes after obviously they move, then that's a different story for the A's, I think.
So to reel it back in here to the NL real quick. Assuming that the Dodgers stay leading that division, Phillies and the Brewers, which I think we can almost agree on, except for the Dodgers, is you got the Cubs. I think they're pretty much solidified. They've cemented themselves in that first, at least the first, if not the second wild card spot, depending on how the Padres play. Then it gets interesting again in the NL. That third wild card slot, we've got the Mets in there right now. They've got 1.5 games up on the Giants. They've got 2 up on the Diamondbacks, and they've got 2.5 up on the Reds. So we'll start with Matt as a Diamondbacks fan, being right outside looking in. Then we'll flip to Nick for the Mets. Where do you guys see this going? Are we going to see one of these 3 teams take over the Mets? Are the Mets going to right the ship? Or are we going to get surprised and see the Reds just make a jump, from 2.5 out into that wild card spot?
All right. So I'm going to speak on the Diamondbacks' way to the playoffs here. This is what I was trying to, this is what I thought of. I'd seen this earlier. If the Diamondbacks can take 2 out of 3 in these last 4 series, the Giants lose and the Mets keep sliding, the Diamondbacks will sneak in the playoffs. But if our bullpen, which has been a major issue all season long, and our managerial decisions continue to hinder us, then we're missing the playoffs. But if we can take 2 out of 3 in every game, in every series, these last 4 series, it's wraps. We're going to the playoffs if that's the case. So, but we need the Mets to keep sliding, and we need the Giants to keep sliding for us to do that.
Yeah, and I think you guys play the Giants coming up. Is that today or tomorrow?
I believe it's tomorrow because we have to take a fly back from Minnesota. Because that series was in Minnesota.
Okay, Nick, what do you think as the community Mets fan, the Mets analyst, the Mets guy here? What are they going to right the ship? What do we think? Is it better for them to miss the playoffs this year and get rid of everybody?
No. I still think they're making it. I don't see how they don't. Though they still have to face, I want to say they got the Padres next. Then I think it's like the Marlins, Cubs, Marlins, or something like that. So not great.
So, the only series I see you guys losing there, and this is just my opinion on this.
Cubs.
No.
Marlins twice.
No. The only series I could see you guys losing is the Padres series. That's it.
Maybe.
All of those other series are winnable for you guys.
The Mets never beat the Cubs. The Marlins always play spoiler.
The Cubs' second half collapse is imminent every year. So
That's
honestly,
true.
y'all could beat the Cubs.
We'll see what happens. I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, everybody's fired.
Yeah. I don't
Everybody.
disagree with
And if they don't retain Pete Alonso next year, I'm out.
If Pete Alonso becomes a Diamondback, I would be shocked.
No, I'm a Diamondback fan then. I'm moving there. Me and
Welcome aboard, buddy.
Gonzo, me the big unit, Steve Finley. We go way back.
Study up on your history. So
I know. Miguel Montero,
yeah,
Eric Burns,
being
So we
around
got
2000.
Bung Hung Kim.
Oh, don't even. Oh,
We've got an
Don't
interesting
even.
question here by one of our guys. This is from Wake Up Esports. If anyone out there that's listening is interested in the Call of Duty leagues or really any video game sporting leagues where they play or anything to involve with video games, they've talked about the new Halloween game. They've talked about the COD leagues, the off season. They go live on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern, I believe. And you can catch them on YouTube. That's their YouTube right there. All one word, no spaces. Sometimes it is hard to find, so make sure you don't put any spaces in there. But check them out on Tuesdays at 7. And he comes up here with a good question. Out of the teams that we support, so we've got the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks. It seems like there's probably only 3. No offense, Matt, but there's probably only 3.
I don't disagree with you on this at all.
There's only 3 out of the ones that we support that are going to make the playoffs. Who is poised to make the furthest run? I think is basically what he's saying. Who can make it all the way out of the 3 teams that are still in position to
relatively in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And this is, from an outsider looking in, obviously, I would say from what I see this is my World Series matchup that I would like to see. Honestly, I'd love to see a Mariners-Mets matchup.
I'm listening.
Honestly.
Oh, he's listening now. Well,
but if you think about it, though, you got to compete with the Dodgers. You got to compete with the Padres on the National League side. Now, the Mariners are probably one of the most complete teams in the American League side outside of their pitching. So, but they have to go against, Detroit. They've got to go against Toronto. I mean, it's going to be a tough road for both those teams. But if I had to say somebody's going all the way, maybe Seattle can sneak into the World Series and win it all.
They've never been.
And they've never been. So this would be their first World Series if that's the case.
Okay, Comic, what do you think? Out of the teams that we support here, so again, it's Phillies, Red Sox, Mets. Who do you think is making the furthest impact into the playoffs? Who's going the furthest?
Out of the 3 of us?
Yeah.
I would say the Phillies.
Oh, the Phillies?
I can respect it. I mean,
okay.
On paper.
On paper, they've got the pitching. At the trade deadline, they made huge moves. They got a closer. They just went and got half of Minnesota, the Twins teams, some of their Twins players. They have the hitting, they have the pitching, they have starting pitching, they have middle relief, and they have a closer. To me, and this is just my opinion, to win a World Series, you have to have very, very strong pitching.
Agreed.
But I will say what does hurt Philly, is they lost one of their key starting pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
Jamie Moyer. Is he alive? He's got to be.
He's alive. Yeah, he's alive. He's probably only in the 50s now.
Maybe no way. He was 50 when he retired. He's like Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan
he's knocking on the gates.
Nolan Ryan was like that. Hold on. Nolan Ryan was like 70.
Nolan Ryan's got to be like 85. Jamie Moyer is probably 84.
Okay, Nick, what do you think? Out of our 3 teams between me,
the Brewers, I've always been a Brewer fan. I've said that since day one. I'm big Milwaukee. I love cheese. Go Packers. Go the guy who died. Bob Uecker. Mr. 3000. What a movie. We all love Bernie Mac. R.I.P. No, the answer is Philly. I said from the start, Philly and Red Sox World Series.
That's exactly where I want to go with this. So I'm a Phillies fan. The easy answer for me would be Phillies, and Comic touched on everything. Is that they've got everything they need to be successful throughout the playoffs. But if you remember, quite a few weeks back, we kind of went over team rankings, and the one team that was consistent through all facets of baseball was the Boston Red Sox. They were within the top 10, if not the top 12 in everything, hitting, pitching, defense. They do commit errors, and they commit timely errors, but they don't commit the most errors in baseball. And I will say that they have lost, losing Roman Anthony, it almost makes me want to take it off. But at the same time, he was a rookie. This would be his first postseason, his first chance to make an impact. So I do think the team as a whole would be pretty good. And I really could see, as Nick said, Phillies, Red Sox down the stretch, they could both make it to the World Series. But I'm glad that you brought up Mr. 3000, Nick, because the Wake Up Esports podcast, here has another question.
Oh no, Airbud, please.
And he
no
said, if you
Airbud.
can add a fantasy baseball character on your team, who would it be? And specifically says from a movie.
Not Mr. 3000 because that movie is egregious. He's not in the Hall of Fame because he didn't have 3 hits. They had his fake stat line. Look it up. It's egregious. Dane Cook played one of the running sausages. Terrible movie. But, nostalgic. The
Okay,
answer
I
is
gotta go
Ricky
with-
Vaughn.
That was
you
mine.
son of a
That was
gun, you took
mine.
my pick. I was gonna go Ricky Vaughn.
I mean, I
Alright,
could hit you with some old school and be like, yo, Roy Hobbs, a natural.
The natural. That was my next one.
Yeah.
Well, let's do a little top 5 since we all seem to have the same one. So we've got Vaughn, Hobbs. I'm a big fan. I don't want to butcher his name. From The Sandlot, was it Benji or Benny Rodriguez?
Benny the Jet Rodriguez. Come on.
I think having that kind of speed on the base pass, that's somebody that you're going to get on base, batting average, stolen bases, and runs. That's somebody that, especially in the realm of fantasy baseball, that's somebody that you want on your team. So we got 3. What do we think? I know what he wants.
What
us
was
to say.
he was in Major League, and he Wesley Snipes played it.
Nope. Don't want him. He's very slow. All those movies you see in slow motion is real because he is a slow human.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about speed wise in the film. He was fast. I'm not talking about
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah, it's true. Anybody ever seen The Scout with Brendan Fraser?
I
think
don't.
I have.
Oh, he's like a phenom in like Mexico. They call him up. He pitches one game, like game 7, pitches a perfect game, 81 pitches, 21 strikeouts, throws like 130. That's my pick.
Yes, I have seen that. Yep.
I couldn't think of any baseball movies that have like an alien as like a player. So
what's that movie? Oh gosh, I cannot remember the guy's name. The player's name is Billy Chappell. He's a pitcher for the Tigers.
Oh, For the Love of the Game.
Yeah, for the life of me, I can't think of the actor's name.
Kevin Costner.
That's right. I don't know why. For some reason, I keep thinking Billy Bob Thornton. For some reason, I don't know why, but I would put him up there. I mean, I get, as we were talking about Nolan Ryan, Jamie Moyer, Billy Chappell pitches, in the movie until he's well into his 40s, has a perfect game at the end of his career.
Where does Henry Rowan Gardner fall into this draft?
Post injury, take him, but it doesn't last. If you remember, it doesn't last the whole movie. So I don't know if I can bank my whole fantasy season on throwing him up there.
That strike zone, man. Who's gonna find that strike zone? The guy was like 4'3", and his mom was Pete Crow Armstrong's mom. Never mind, that was a wrong movie. I take it all back. That was Little Big League or the other movie.
Right.
They don't make sports movies anymore. Why?
I don't know. I have no idea, but we can get into that. I think, when we talked about what we were going to talk about at the beginning of the episode, we're going to jump now into the power rankings. I think we're going to save for everyone at home. If you were waiting for this, I think we're going to save it till next week because we're kind of running low on time. We're going to do the power rankings, and then we're going to end after this. We're going to do making the bad teams better in the offseason next week. So keep an eye out for that. Real quick, before we get into the power rankings, I just want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors and our affiliates. We've got Walmart, W Energy, Jerky Pro, Blue Chew, Smack and Sunflower Seeds, BetUS, and SeatGeek. And you use code WAKEUP for any one of those, and you get between 10 and 30% a discount, between 10 and 30% on any one of those ones that you use. I can speak from experience. Smack and Sunflower Seeds is very good. They have a lot of flavors. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. I see them predominantly on TikTok. Walmart, obviously everyone uses, and Jerky Pro. They have a lot of great products over there, and the other ones as well.
And then I can speak on SeatGeek as well. I've used SeatGeek multiple times for Cardinals games. I've used them a couple times for Sun Devil games. Great pricing. It's a retail site. It's honestly one of the better sites you could use as far if you're looking to save some money. Go into a game, use code WakeUp on SeatGeek as well for a discount as well, guys.
I used it for recently. We're going to Monday Night Raw, WWE, coming here soon to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So real quickly, we'll run through this, and then I'm just gonna
Nah,
read.
this is the wrestling podcast now.
Brother.
I'll run through the top 10, and then we'll go back and we'll go through it as we see. We've got the Brewers at 1, the Phillies at 2, the Blue Jays at 3, the Cubs at 4, the Tigers at 5, Yankees in the 6th slot, Dodgers, Padres at 8, Red Sox at 9, and the Astros at 10. Just to give you a little bit of what do they call it? Extra.
Background.
Yeah, a little bit of background, a little bit of extra information. You got the Mets at 11, the Mariners at 12, the Royals at 13, and the Rangers at 14. What do we agree with and what do we disagree with about this list? And I will start. Now, I'm not sure how old this list is. I just pulled it up on MLB.com. Oh, it came out the 7th. So it's a couple weeks old now, or about a week old. So keep that in mind. But I think when the new one comes out,
It'll be tomorrow.
It'll be a lot different.
Yeah, I think we'll still
Mariners
see
got to
Red
be
Sox.
top 8.
Yeah, Mariners will jump in there. I think we may see the Astros probably definitely dropping out of that 10th spot, and Mariners jumping in somewhere in the top 10. I think if we start from the top, I think the top is basically solidified. And you guys let me know if you have anything different. But I think Brewers, Phillies,
Yeah.
going to stay. Blue Jays, we go into the next 3. Blue Jays, Cubs, Tigers. To me, they're almost interchangeable. Matt did, speak on it a little bit with the second half slump of the Cubs. We could see them fall down. Is there anyone else you would put in that top 5 besides those 3 there?
I would take out the Cubs.
Yeah, I would take out the Cubs as well. They have not been playing good baseball.
They have been very disappointing in the second half of the season. And their bullpen is very disappointing.
Yeah, their bullpen, especially with Kitteridge, has been terrible.
Yes.
Who else do they even have in their bullpen that's doing good besides like Chris Flexen, sort of? And Drew Pomerant's still there? I know he was having a good start. I don't know anything about him.
Last I remember him, he a little short. He played for the Red Sox, and he also played for the Padres.
Padres, yeah. It's been around. They got that rookie that might sneak in for Rookie of the Year, but I think he's a starter.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you said the Tigers are at what, 6?
The Tigers are at 5.
I'd get the Tigers out of there and swap them with the Mariners, honestly, right now.
Yeah.
Really?
I'd put the Mariners the way they've been playing. Like, I understand that they're both division winners. I just think if you're going by the past week, then you have to put the Mariners at least at 5. And then, honestly, you could probably put 6, the Astros, and then the Tigers.
So you're saying Mariners 5, Astros 6, Tigers 7?
I think after this week, I think you'd have to put the Mariners at 5.
Honestly, the Mariners, again, 9-1 in their last 10?
Yeah,
Mariners by far been playing the best baseball this past week. So honestly, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, you can't change Brewers and Phillies no matter what they've been doing because they're the 2 best teams.
Yeah, agreed.
Which another interesting race is that I think Philly is only like 2 games maybe behind for the overall best record, so they would get that home field in the bye.
Right.
I think another interesting point to make. It's a little bit outside the top 10, but we had just said Mariners 9-1 in their last 10. Guardians also 9-1 in their last 10. As of last week, sitting at 18th. How close do you think that we're going to see them get to the top 10, if not into the top 10?
They'll probably, if they're not 10, they're going to be 11. The Mets, if they're lucky, are 12 or 13.
Agreed.
Out if you guys think the Guardians will make an appearance in the top 10.
Honestly, and this is just what I think, if the Guardians can keep up what they're doing, and somehow, again, like we said earlier in the podcast, like if they can come out and take 4 out of 6 over the Tigers and sweep one of their last couple of series, then honestly, they're making the top 10 in the power rankings. I would put them maybe sneaking in at 10, but outside of that, maybe 9th or 8th if they're really, really hot.
Yeah, I think they're right outside of the top 10 when this comes out tomorrow. You said tomorrow?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, I think and that's strictly just based off the way they've been playing. This is a weekly power ranking, so you got to take into consideration the length of, the whole season as a whole, plus this next week or this previous week that they just played, which they've been super hot. And Daly had made a comment here, and I'll bring it back up. I brought it up for a little bit. Is behind the Royals is diabolical, and I think he has a point. I think because this is a week old, we're kind of, we already have the future in front of us. We've already seen the week, and we're getting ready for the next one. So I think we definitely see them. I mean, it's a huge jump. 18 to 11, 12, possibly 10 is going to be a huge jump for them. I'm just looking through here. We got the Royals at 13, the Rangers at 14, the Giants at 15, the Diamondbacks at 16. I don't really think there's going to be any other movers.
I think everybody's going to jump over the Royals. The Giants have been hot except for like this weekend, but and then the Diamondbacks maybe not have been hot. They've probably gone 6-4 of their past 10. I still think they've been doing better than the Royals because the Royals, if they're over 500, I'm surprised.
Yeah, like I said, and I'll speak on experience as a Diamondbacks fan again with the early injuries we've had in our bullpen. And then questionable managerial decisions by Torey Lovullo and Brian Kaplan. I would say we maybe jump up to about, I would say 15, 14 roughly. But I don't think we jump up to just outside the top 10 looking in. I don't think we've played that good of baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, crap. We barely beat the Twins today 6-4.
James McCann, that bastard.
James McCann, exactly my point. When
4 RBIs.
So,
I think, and just again, I'm just scrolling down through here. I think the only other mover that we do see, because they've moved quite a bit. We didn't really touch on them because they moved from 5th to 4th in their division. But the A's have been exceptionally good this last, especially through September, coming through the end of July or end of August, sorry, and then through September. So they're right now, as of last week, at 22. They were previously 22 the week before. I think they've made a huge jump as far as their production and winning games. I think we could see them jump the teams in front of them: Orioles, Cardinals, Reds, Guardians. I think as far as the Guardians move up, say it's 6 to 7 slots, I think we could see the A's move up just about as much. I'd say 5 slots. I think 22.
They're in Boston this week.
Oh,
They're in Boston.
Yeah, they have a tough end of their season. I'm excited.
They just had a series also with the Red Sox this week.
I'm excited, not to jump too far into the future, but for the A's in upcoming years, assuming we're not getting that holdout or that
MLB lockout.
Yeah, the lockout in 2 years. Assuming that's not coming, I am excited to see what the A's do. They've got the young talent, but again, we will get to that in the next episode. We're going to talk about young talent. These teams that are young, these teams that are bad, what they can do to get better this offseason and be better next season. We'll go through the standings again next week, and we'll just have fun with it, and we'll be talking baseball. So we hope to see everyone here. We appreciate the support that we see in the comments from all the other podcasts and all the other guys. We got the Wake Up Sports podcast. Again, they're on Mondays and Fridays. They're here. Esports. I'm trying to get to their comment quick before we jump out of here. Esports on Tuesday. And then we've also got, just to mention real quick before we end here, we've got the It's Game Day presented by Wake Up. That's the college football podcast. I believe they've now moved to Wednesdays.
Correct.
So Wednesdays, I'm not sure exactly the time. The guy that runs it, he's in Central Time, so I always get it mixed up. So you'll have to check in on their YouTube page. It's Wake Up, It's Game Day. It's really easy to find. And I appreciate all of you guys being here, and that's going to do it for us. So we will see everybody next week.